Listen. The Lego movies have no damn right being this good. Y'all saw what happened to the Emoji Movie. Y'all have seen other toy and kid properties get smurfed. But Chris Lord, Phil Miller, and everyone besides Kathleen Kennedy have been busy crafting these animated combo prices that I personally think are genius. Like if the first Lego movie is about generations and how to connect with each other through shared passions, then the second one is about siblings and sharing viewpoints. Let me explain. Now, I really want to focus on the second part because that's the one that's fresh on my mind and some people are hating on it. See, I think part of the genius between these two movies is that people keep forgetting how they're partly being told through the kids' perspective, or at least an extension of their imagination. That's why we see fingerprints on the Legos and wear and tear on the Legos, because they're the ones who are technically moving the characters. Everything happening is based off things around them, so whenever the dad, who's played by Will Ferrell, consistently forgets his pants, it becomes something that the kids incorporate into the story.
Honey, where are my pants?
Emmett orders coffee probably the same way the kids do.
2 coffees, please. 1 black, 1 with just a touch of cream and 25 sugars.
The speech and size for certain Legos change as the sister gets older since it's from her perspective.
We are from the planet Duplo, and we are here to destroy you. Hello!
So I guess you can kind of see the recasting of Jenny Slate, who was voicing Harley Quinn, to Margot, who's voicing Harley Quinn, as them having seen the movie, and I guess now they're picturing them as the voice. There's then also the plot that revolves around the crackle in the first one, since they fear their dad would glue them together. And in the second one, it's the fear that the mom would take their Legos away and causing our mom their kids. They're not all going to be that great. But what I love the most about the sequel is how the whole thing is just a fight between the brother and the sister. That's why the Lego characters think they're going through an apocalypse when it's just them fighting over Legos. That's why the new ones come from the Sistar system. It's why characters are given certain names based off phrases they probably said a lot growing up. And while some find it corny, I think the message of the sister just wanting to play with the brother because she was influenced by him is cute. That there never was a bad side, just different perspectives a la R.R. Martin. The credits even show you a montage of siblings who connected through Legos. But if you think that this sounds too much like Toy Story 2, well, the movie then has a whole bunch of other things, maybe goes a little too overboard with other things, and references that are completely sporadic. Emmett has a twin named Rex, which really doesn't make any damn sense with the whole time travel stuff, but it adds to the status quo aspect of the movie, that the hero doesn't have to be this brooding man in black who's always giving the audience what they want. And it also takes shots at Pratt's previous roles, like Rex is literally a parody of every big role Chris has played, almost played, even those who have been his daddy in roles. Obviously, it's also a sequel poking fun at sequels, especially those that have a depressing ending and a cliffhanger like many have had, those where the main heroes go down dark paths that audiences don't expect. Pratt also ruining things like he did in Infinity War and then causing everything to turn into pieces. I'm also aware that a lot of people just see this franchise and many others as just a big commercial to sell more toys, and you know what? 100%. That doesn't mean it can't be entertaining though. Like if the joke is that they have to come up with another catchy song to sell as well as Everything Is Awesome did for the first one, and they decide to be so on the nose that they just call the new song the catchy song, if it's actually getting stuck in my head, then I ain't even mad. I love the jokes about the DC characters being gone and how Marvel won't answer their phone calls, so they're kind of screwed. How the brainwashing machine is actually a smartphone. How they knew there were 2 sides to Liam Neeson this whole time. Like, I know we've been getting a bunch of self-aware movies, but I really think this one worked, especially when it gets deep. There's this storyline with Lucy who's been keeping secrets from Emmett because she's holding up this tough persona, but her guard is so high that when she finally lets it down and reveals her true side to him, he doesn't believe it. He's actually grown to believe that the manipulated version of her, the side she wanted him to see, is the authentic version, and it disrupts their entire relationship. That idea that we don't reveal ourselves to the people closest to us and shut them out. In a kid's movie. I think a lot of people grew up playing with Legos, and that became the bond between them, between siblings, parents, cousins. But I think we all have our own version of Legos that keep us connected. That shared passion that brings us together. Obviously, my Legos are movies, and they become the thing that I share with the people closest to me. And honestly, it's been the thing that's connected you and I. So I just ask, what happens when we put those Legos away? Yo, also, Miller and Lord are the owners of credits. I thought they set the bar with the 22 Jump Street credits, but this Lonely Island song at the end was hilarious. They're calling out actors for working 4-hour days and poor souls, their only compensation is money, on how the best song in a movie soundtrack has to be played first in the credits, that they're so good, people are coming in 90 minutes late to the movie. They're just skipping the whole movie because they just want to see the credits. I even love how they put Will Ferrell in a speech bubble since he was just a voiceover for this movie, but again, I personally love the movie. Either way, I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts on it. What did you think about Wildfire actually being the one who wrote Everything Is Awesome? Do you finally get Radiohead? Were you upset that they were making fun of Cinebros out there? Are there jokes that make no sense? Does that, what I think is genius of it being from the perspective of the kids, even though sometimes they just go completely opposite to that? Yeah, 100%. But I still think it's an enjoyable movie. I personally think that if this movie came out first, people would like it just as much as they like the first Lego movie. I think it is one of those where the quality for me is still the same. It's just the novelty of that big twist that we saw in the first movie being done here just doesn't hit as hard. But I still personally like both. They're equal to me in my opinion. But I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll send you Bionicles.